All right, everybody, welcome back for another Deep Dive with us.
Yep.
Today, we are going to be tackling a verse that I am positive you have heard many, many times before.
Oh, yeah.
Philippians 4.13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah, you see it everywhere.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Wow.
It really is. I mean, come on, coffee mugs,
Mhm.
motivational posters, tattoos, like you name it. This verse is there.
For sure.
But what did Paul really mean when he wrote this?
Right.
Because I feel like it gets thrown around
Yeah.
a lot. Maybe take it a little bit out of context, maybe even.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive in using some really insightful commentary that we found to help us decode this verse, because it's a powerful one.
Absolutely. I mean, it's popular for a reason, right? There's some truth in there that people are latching onto, but yeah, we gotta figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that sometimes we forget is that it's not just like this verse floating out there in the Bible.
Right.
It's part of a letter, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's part of a bigger story.
Some context, right?
So maybe help us set the stage here. Where does this verse fall, in Paul's letter to the Philippians?
So yeah, by the time we get to chapter 4, Paul is like writing this thank you note almost to the Philippians.
Okay.
He's so grateful for their support, and he's talking about, he's been through a lot at this point.
Oh, yeah?
Imprisonment, beatings, shipwrecks, like you name it. He's been through it.
Well, he's had a rough go.
He's had a rough go, but he's saying, I've learned through all of this to be content whether I have a lot or a little,
Wow.
And he's not just talking about just being okay with whatever happens, but like a deep inner peace
Yeah.
that goes beyond just dealing with your circumstances.
So it's like finding that contentment in the midst of the hardship.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a more active thing, right?
Right.
It's not passive.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
And so that's the backdrop for verse 13, right? He's not just like, I'm Superman, I can do whatever I want. It's like, no, the source of my strength is my faith in Christ. And that allows me to persevere through all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and when you read that phrase, through Christ who strengthens me, it's almost like he's saying, hey, don't look at me, look at him.
Right.
Like he's the one making this possible.
Yeah, totally. And you see this throughout Paul's letters, actually. Like, this isn't just a one-off.
Right.
This idea that, we need to rely on God's grace, not our own strength.
Mm.
He understood that, we're human, we can only do so much.
Right.
But God's grace, that's limitless.
Limitless, that's the key.
That's where the power comes from.
So, how does all of this... Yeah, how does understanding that context change what this verse actually means for us? As we're reading it today,
I think the big takeaway is it's not like a blank check
Okay.
to just go out and achieve whatever goal you set your mind to,
right.
It's not about that. It's about finding that strength to stay faithful,
Okay.
especially when things get tough.
When life throws you those curveballs.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So instead of thinking I can do anything I set my mind to, it's more like I can get through anything with Christ by my side.
Right.
And that's a very different message.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a lot deeper.
It's not about I can be successful in my business. It's about I can make it through,
I can handle this.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a much more, I think, powerful message, don't you think?
Definitely. I think so. It's about God being enough, especially when we're weak or doubting or struggling. That's when we really need him.
Yeah. So to kind of sum all this up, the context matters.
Big time. Yeah.
Philippians 4.13. It's not some magic formula for worldly success.
Right.
But it is a promise that we can find the strength to persevere in our faith.
Yeah. With Christ as the source of that strength.
With Christ as the source. Yeah. And that's the key.
That's what it's all about.
So I guess that leaves us with a question, right?
Yeah.
How does understanding that change the way you approach challenges in your life?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And how does it influence your understanding of faith and your reliance on God?
That's the big question right there. I mean, just different for everybody, but it's worth thinking about.
It really is. Well, hey, thanks for joining me on this deep dive. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was great.
This was fun. And we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.